Hey everyone! We're going to be wrapping up this short series in the book of Joshua and coming to the conclusions you've all been waiting for these past few weeks. We are finding out all sorts of interesting things about God's chosen killer. We'll be doing the overview later and reviewing the last two videos at the end. If you haven't seen the last two, you can see them here and here. Get some popcorn ready. We're starting with chapter 20. God tells Joshua to set up cities of refuge, safe places in essence. This is so that anyone who kills someone accidentally can flee there to find protection from the Avenger of Blood. Basically an assassin type of judge. They sit in the city until they stand trial, and the high priest dies, and then they go back home. So in essence, the killer can just head there in case of manslaughter and ask for a fair trial. But the thing here is, they are on the run until they get to these cities. In the meantime, the Avenger of Blood can kill them no problem. So the person that accidentally caused someone's death is perfectly fine to get murdered. Nice and fair there, isn't it?
Sarcasm is unbecoming of you.
Fortunately, chapter 20 isn't that long, so on to 21. Now, we're still passing out land somewhat here. The Levites felt snubbed since they didn't get a share of the conquest, so Joshua gave them territory he already promised to other tribes, because fuck it, why not? Literally, the Levites were given many towns that were given to all the other tribes. But the funny part here is at the very end of the chapter, it says not one enemy withstood the Israelites. But we know that isn't exactly true, and not one of God's promises failed, which we know is not true. Why? Because they said this too early. Chapter 22. More land and more promises to fulfill. No shit, the Reubenites were told, "K thanks bye," and Joshua sent them off back over the Jordan River to fuck off and do their thing, but to obey God. The first thing they did, they built an altar on the Israelites' side of the river. The response? Absolute total war. Because how dare they build anything? While they are gearing up for mass homicide instead of a mass genocide, they sent a messenger to threaten them. And threaten them they did. Instead of asking them, "Hey bro, why the altar?" they threatened them with God's judgment and chewed them out for it. The response? They didn't want Israel coming after their ancestors and saying they are not bound by God. The altar is a reminder so that they wouldn't kill them off too, like they just killed off the Canaanites. So the delegation left with their tails between their legs like, "My bad, you good." This entire chapter is dedicated to showing how impulsive the Israelites are, how little they want to talk, and how bloodthirsty they are, since instead of starting off with a delegation, they started off with amassing the armies for war and annihilation, and sent the delegation as a side quest. Side quest failed. 2 more chapters, and we can settle down and tally the results. Are you excited? I am. Chapter 23. Joshua is very old and gathers everyone to tell them he's old. I'm not joking. That's how it starts out. Joshua gets to brag to everyone and say God is going to push out everyone else because he didn't before or couldn't. He tells them all, be good boys and girls and say their prayers. He reminds them that no one can stand against them, except for the ones that did. And he reminds them that if they ally with the people they haven't murdered yet, or couldn't, then God won't make them all die or drive them out like he promised would happen with Joshua already. He tells them all he is about to die, and they need to obey God or God will fuck their shit up and kill them all. They are to serve this one God and not the others that other people worship. Reference the Canaanite Pantheon video for more gods in the Bible. And that's it. Joshua people to his deathbed and said this show's tagline, faith around and find out. Chapter 24. I'm going to actually miss reading this horror story. And when I say horror story, I am not talking about the genocide. I'm talking about the chapter itself. It's a trash heap. Just like, 23 started off with Joshua gathering everyone, 24 starts off with Joshua gathering the exact same people. He's dying in 23, and he is now really, really dying in 24, while able to take everyone to temple. Joshua tells everyone this is what God says, that God took Abraham and made him believe in him, even though his daddy worshipped other gods. He did a bunch of cool things for the Israelites, and they should be appreciative. God goes on a long-ass bragging session of pride. It's literally a bragging session of all the people they killed to take over the entire area of the world, and God taking credit for all of it. Joshua tells everyone gathered to continue the killing by getting rid of anyone that doesn't worship God. Then he got a stone and set it near an oak tree, saying it was a witness to anyone standing against them. Joshua then died at the age of 110, and he was buried. Joseph's bones that they had brought with them this entire time was buried on a plot of land someone had to pay for. Hold up. They just killed thousands and thousands of people, stole all the land, gave it all away to the Israelites, and at this point, they have to buy the land to bury the remains of the dude they backpacked for what? 100 years or some shit? Okay, that's just fucking wow. So, this brings us to the end of the book of Joshua. Now we get to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. For that, I will defer to my friend Taipan. Hey, come on over, Gramps. No, this is your seat. Come on, let's go.
Why do I just come over here? Is that what you want?
Yeah, Gramps, just sit down in the chair.
All right. I'm on the way. Hi, everybody. I'm on the interweb. Hi, I'm Taipan. Sorry I sound like this. I'm a bit up there in years.
You're older than the Bible.
Yeah. I remember when Yahweh was this tall. Good kid. Anyway, what's your name again?
Corsi.
Right, Corsi wants you to tell you all about how many of God's commandments the Israelites broke in Joshua. Yeah, Joshua. Real asshole, that guy. You know, he once told me...
Just read the script,
Right. The commandments the Israelites broke. The first is not to have strange gods before God. Yeah, one can say they kind of kept that one. Maybe. The second is not to take the Lord's name in vain. Probably kept that one too. The third is to keep holy the Sabbath. Nope. They broke that one when they marched around that one city thing. Yeah, whatever. I don't remember. 7 days straight. So that's one of the three that Joshua and the Israelites broke. So yeah, there's that. Let's see, what's the next one? Oh yeah, honor thy father and mother. Joshua's parents aren't mentioned at all in the entire chapter. So yeah, no. This one's kind of borderline. Call it a 1.5. Thou shalt not kill. Yeah, I think it's safe to say this one was broken with intent by all the Israelites and God himself. 2.5. The sixth, not committing adultery. The spies went straight to a whorehouse. biblically, so that one's out the window. 3.5. I could use a whorehouse. I haven't gotten laid in...
Taipan!
Right, sorry. What's your name again?
Corsi!
Right. Sorry, Corsi. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Thou shalt not steal. I mean, they stole the whole frickin' country and everything in the cities and attacked, so stealing, yep. Got that one down. 4.5. I have 4 fingers, too. The 8th is thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Basically, don't lie. Joshua did that by lying how they were going to attack the cities. Deception is a lie, so that's 5.5. Number 9 is not coveting thy neighbor's wife. Back to the whole whorehouse thing, you know. And 10, not coveting thy neighbor's shit. They looked at Israel and say they wanted, and God said, sure, go ahead. So that counts. Okay, so in the end, Joshua and the Israelites, on a scale of 1 to 10, they broke 7 of God's commandments, with the 8 is kind of iffy. And what about God? Did God himself break any of his own commandments? Yes. Now, obviously, I can't technically break the first 2 if he doesn't have anyone to be an adulterer. So we can only judge God on 7 of the 10. Did God break the Sabbath? Yes. God was with Joshua and Israel in the marches around that one city that began with a J.
Jericho.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Did God honor his father and mother? No, he did not. His father was El, and he demanded the death of his father's worshippers. Did God kill? Yes, he did, when he said he would kill and drive out anyone else from the promised land. Did God steal? Yes, he stole land from the other people and gave it to his chosen besties. Is that the word you guys use? Okay, whatever, I don't care. Did God bear false witness? Yes, again, God lied to Joshua when he said no one would stand against him, and there are those that did. Did God covet his neighbor's wife? Technically, I could have excluded this one from consideration, but I wanted to give God at least one win here, because... Did God covet his neighbor's shit? Duh, of course he did. He wanted all their shit for the Israelites. And he had Joshua take it all and pass it out like candy. So that's 6 of his own commandments that he broke, making God a sinner in his own light. So I think we can now get back to, what's your name again?
Corsi, for fuck's sake!
Corsi, right. Let me get up here and let Corsi take over again. See you later.
Really? Taipan can be a bit of a pain. He's forgetful. Sorry about that. So, what can we make of all this? Joshua biblically is a genocidal maniac, a thief, and a blatant murderer. No wonder he wanted people to have a safe house so he could kill people and call it accidental. This is some pretty crazy bullshit here. How anyone could look at the book of Joshua, read it, and understand everything written in it, and say, for a split second, that God is good, is just as terrible as Joshua was. Now, what do I think happened? I think Joshua was so convinced that God was real and speaking to him that he went out and committed these atrocities while listening to the voices in his head. I think he was a man with serious mental problems, with people so enamored by the fact that they followed him into battle and killed people because the voices in Joshua's head told them to. When read from the outside and from a skeptic's mind, this looks and reads like an insane lunatic, hell-bent on killing anyone and everyone but his friends. After reading this entire thing, it's no wonder why I never actually heard of the book of Joshua being read aloud in church. How can you teach this kind of thing to your children? To all my viewers, thank you for tuning in these past couple of weeks. If you have any suggestions for another series, please join the Politics and Religion server on Discord and look me up. In the meantime, I am Corsi, and this is the Fluffy Atheist. If you like this, go ahead and pet those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, if you faith around, I'll help you find out what your Bible really says.